Now, still on security issues, the abduction of the students and teachers of the government science school Kagora, Niger State, had topped the chart of news items this week. More so, efforts to secure their release and how the government is going about it has been raising some eyebrows, as it is now very clear that a Kaduna-based Islamic cleric, Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, is spearheading negotiations. Joining us live from Abuja to speak of this and other matters regarding this is Barrister Kwamoti Laori of Numan Demse Lamude Federal Constituency and the House of Representatives. Thank you so much for joining us on the news at this time.
Much.
Now, looking at the Kagora episode, does it not look like the government is overwhelmed by the security situation with the recent reports we've been getting?
Obviously, it appears that Nigeria is falling into, is becoming a failed state because the reoccurring security issues it seems has overwhelmed the security agencies, and they are out of their wits as to what to do, and there is no any solutions visible for them to tackle the insecurity we are facing. It's quite unfortunate when people are in position and they are very comfortable, and all these things are going on. How can you be talking in the same climb that you are tampering bandits, that you are going to negotiate with them? On what basis? If we continue pampering crime in this country, then it will become lucrative for everybody to join in. I believe it is time for us all to put our hands on deck and trash out this issue once and for all. I don't believe the way the government is going about this is going to augur well for all the citizens. We have confidence that the #1 priority of the government is to secure our lives and property. But obviously, it seems that the government is out of its wits. That's why even the defense minister is saying that people should take up arms to defend themselves, which I think is quite unfortunate to come out in this at this time for the defense minister to utter those words. If it is the herdsmen today, tomorrow it's going to be farmers. Next day is going to be taxi drivers. The next day is going to be another group all in together. And these bandits we are talking about, how can you be negotiating with foreigners when the government has come out to say clearly that these bandits are foreigners? And for crying out loud, are you going to now pamper criminals that are foreigners, that are invading this country, that are terrorizing us? And then you are going out to meet them and to have parley with them and even give them money? Definitely, I don't think the way the government is handling these security issues will give us the desired results we are having. It is for the government to really come out all in out and for these bandits and to try them out. The government have the resources. If we are saying we are short of manpower, what is wrong in the government recruiting, say, 50,000 personnel in just 6 months and train them? It can be done in this country and for us to handle these issues. After all, the kind of money that is being spent on some of these projects can be stopped. How can you be talking about railway to Maradi when there is insecurity? How can we have development? How can we, in this time and season, progress as a people when every day there are people are being killed and there are so much insecurity? How can the business flourish for us to even make the money and the revenue to flow for the government to have the resources to do other developmental projects? I think what we need at this period is for the government to really look at critically at certain areas, put on hold, retrieve those resources there. The National Assembly is there. They can always give you that environment, put these resources, get the manpower, get the expertise. It's not out of place for government to say, look, you have dealt with this. This kind of situation has happened in Somalia. It has happened in various countries. It's not out of place to say, look, please, how did you handle this situation? Please come and assist us. I think it's high time for government to really come out and say, we are out of ideas in this. Come and help us. And I believe there are a lot of countries that will be willing and ready to come in and assist this country for us to have the peace we desire and for us to have the progress. because this issue of insecurity is really tearing this country apart and is taking us to another dimension altogether that will not be good for us as a citizen.
Okay, it's clear you're obviously against the so-called call for a blanket amnesty for these bandits. Now, this Islamic cleric now, Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, is currently going to different parts of this country, mediating in major security hotspots. Do you think he is the right person for such a situation, or probably we shouldn't even be talking about negotiating with the bandits?
Now, you see, this aspect, this aspect has to do with the religion. And in the first place, what is the religion of these bandits? And does their religion say they should take arms and be killing innocent people? And you cannot be bringing a religious angle to criminality. We have laws in this country, and for crying out loud, if we don't apply these laws that we have, I keep saying that we have never operated 45% of the laws we have in this country. If we do, all this issue of criminality will not even arise. We have been treating criminals with kid gloves. If it is an issue of religion, he is a religious leader. And we are talking about criminality here. We are talking about people that have killed and maimed and destroyed properties here. And what are you talking about here? If he's going to get his under religious angle, let him do it, and let him maybe they are going to confess to him, and then they are going to lay down their arms. But then they should face the law, for crying out loud. If they don't do it, and and another group comes up tomorrow, and then another religious leaders go up, and then we come and negotiate, for crying out loud. I don't believe that's the right step. The right step is for the government to do the first function that is desired of government to protect people, and for the government to apply the law as it is. All this issue of negotiating with the bandits, going with them, that is their own, that is his own part, and well, he is, if he is succeeding, I don't know. But my own belief is we have to apply the law the way it should be. That's the only way to pass the message, and for us, to progress. Negotiating will always create an avenue for another group again to create another problem for them to milk the country dry by getting resources that they don't deserve. And this resources is so lean, and with all this pandemic and all this recession we are in, and the government is spending money given to some criminals, this is really insane.
Okay, of course, a lot is expected from the government. And now we're looking at the porosity of the borders and, of course, even the school environment, as these bandits were able to go into the schools, get the students unhindered. Can we look at security at the schools there? Can we say we don't have enough security operatives manning schools? I'm sure you saw photos of how dilapidated the schools were at that point in time.
Let me tell you the truth. The truth is that most of us that are in government are not sincere. Because if we are sincere when it happened in the first place, what steps have been taken to ensure that it does not occur in any other place again? What is wrong in all these schools if you cannot fence them, if you cannot man them? Why can't you dig trenches around them as security preventive so that any vehicle cannot just go in from any direction? Why, as long as government officials don't allow their children to participate in this school, I believe you me, nothing will come out of it. It's just face value, and there will be anything that is being done by the government is just whitewash. There will be no decision that will go to the root of this matter to ensure that it does not occur again. It has happened once, it has happened twice, it has happened thrice, and believe me, it will happen again. Because what are those measures put in place? Look at the school, look at the nature of the school, how dilapidated it is. Can you believe that if any child of the minister attend this school and that school will be in that state it is? Definitely no. If all the members in the National Assembly and in the State Assembly and the governors will take their children in that school, do you think that school will be as it is? No. I think it's the right time for all of us to really put pressure on the government to do the needful. The people have to come out, if it means coming out in the street to say, look, government, we have had enough of this, do the needful. it should be done, please. We have been talking over and over again on the same issue, and we are applying the same tactics. How are we going to get results? I think it's high time for us to be really creative in our security thinking and bring out new ideas on how to tackle this. As it is, all the schools in various villages and in various towns are vulnerable. And it is for us to say, look, why can't we map out areas that we think that are likely targets and put up security? Believe you me, if we have done that in the first place, they cannot go to Kakara or to Kagara and do what they just did. I believe the government is not sincere in its fight to end this insurgency because maybe somebody is benefiting from it.
Okay, let's look at the legislative arm of government now. What's the position of the National Assembly on this? I know we had certain calls for a state of emergency on the issue of insecurity, but let's hear from you now the position of the National Assembly on all these abductions that has been going on.
Of course, the position of the National Assembly is so clear. You in the media knows that day in, day out, the National Assembly has been churning out resolutions upon resolutions on all these issues. What comes out of it? And because the National Assembly don't have the force of law to execute some of these resolutions, it is for the executive to do that. And are they doing it? They are not doing it. And unfortunately, I would say the National Assembly is helpless in this situation. They have done what they could by passing all this resolution, by drawing the attention of the executive to what should be done to curtail those things, but they are not being done. I think maybe the only option for the National Assembly in all these issues is for all the National Assembly to say, okay, we have done what we can. We can also join them in the street and say, look, the executive is not executing what we asked them to. And if it is, I don't think there is any request that the executive have ever brought to the National Assembly in terms of security demands that has even wasted a day longer. All the demands of the executive in respect of issues of security has always been dealt with promptly, expeditiously. The National Assembly has done that. So what is the problem? The problem is not the National Assembly now. The problem is the executive that ought to execute all those resolutions that the National Assembly has been churning out day in, day out.
Okay, there seems to be a blame game there because I know part of the screening of the former service chiefs, they also complained of the fact that the military cannot do it alone. They complained about lack of equipment and all that. Do you see that also as a problem affecting the solutions of the insecurity problems going on in the country?
Yes, on the issue of them complaining about arms, this is where also I will lay the blame on the National Assembly. Because if we approve this money because of party affiliation, sometimes we don't follow it up. By the time you are following up, you want to unearth certain dirty deals that is doing to track us back because of party things. You understand? You will not have the opportunity, and it will not see the light of the day. Later, it will just be swept under the carpet because of party affiliation, and we have forgotten the oath of office we have taken, and it's quite unfortunate. We are also failing in our duty to really track all this to ensure that the budget is executed. These people will be demanding money and will be approving it. And also, we are failing in our responsibility by not tracking it and bringing it out and say, look, why is this thing not done? And sometimes when, like I said earlier, if you follow it, you find out that in one way or the other, it will be seen as if it is a slide on the person of the president, and then you see it will be covered. The president is not at fault. The minister is at fault, but then they will not just take it and cover it and say, what you are getting at the president. And before you know it, it will be swept under the carpet and because of party affiliation. And in that respect, I think we are capable and we need to sit up and do what we should. But in terms of bringing all those things, these things out and approve us, I don't think the National Assembly should have any blame in that regard.
Okay, lastly, before I let you go, lots of people have been calling for restructuring, of course, state policing as part of the ways to solve the issues of insecurity in the country. Are you thinking towards this light?
Well, restructuring means different things to different people. State police, yes, is overdue. This time, issue of security, you need to have people. Now, especially this Kagora, if we have state police there, they would have taken action. I think it's overdue, and it's for us to really take a fast lane approach towards having this state police, because it will help. We are under police. Look at it. It's the hunters now that are doing the work of the police and the army. Sometimes, let me tell you that certain areas, even the soldiers or the police will not enter. Is this vigilante and the hunters that will go in there to confront these criminals and bandits? How much are they being paid? These people are just doing it gratuitously. They are laying their lives to do this work. The people that are being paid and that they are getting all the fast salary in respect of that are not doing the work they ought to do. And it is time for us to really tinker with the system and have the state police. Not only state police, even local government police. We need it.
All right.
In the Senate clan, all big organizations even have their private police. We need that. We need security in this country, and I think it's overdue for us to have state and even local government police.
Okay, state police and local government police, well, we'll see how far that goes. Thank you so much for sharing your views on the issues of insecurity in the country.
You're welcome.
All right, that was Barrister Kwamoti Laori of Newman Dempsey Lamude Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives.